Well, thanks for coming today. Today we've decided to move on to considering the budget. And I decided to vote yes on moving forward to the budget after talking with the president this morning, this weekend, and again this afternoon. He's very appreciative of me voting to move on to the budget. I've told him, though, that I can't vote for the budget if it exceeds the spending caps. So we have these caps in place that are supposed to try to help us be fiscally responsible here. But the problem is you've got people like John McCain and Lindsey who perennially are asking us to exceed the caps, and that's why we wind up with a $20 trillion debt. And so, frankly, the people that are torpedoing this and endangering the budget vote are, frankly, Lindsey and John McCain. I've said if they will adhere to what we say we are for, we as Republicans say we are for these budget caps. If we'll say and do what we say we're for, I'll vote for the budget. But if we're not going to be conservative, I can't vote for it. One other item in the budget that I think is an important one that no one's talking about. In the budget, in the first year, they say they're going to achieve $96 billion worth of entitlement savings. So if you are to achieve $96 billion in entitlement spending, you would think there should be a bill, or there should be reconciliation instructions, there should be a plan. So I think what we need to ask Republicans who are for this budget, what's your plan for saving the $96 billion in year one that makes your budget balance in 8 years? So my question is, are they serious, or is it just a game? I think to many of them it's a game and a charade, and they say budget doesn't mean anything, it's a vehicle for cutting taxes, we don't care what's in it, which is what they say until we ask them to actually make it a more fiscally conservative document, and then they refuse because we have too many Republicans who basically are not fiscally conservative.
Senator, some of those budget caps, though, are statutorily put in there under the Budget Control Act of 2011. Some will argue, and I know it's an issue of debate, though, that that can't be moved, though, and that your argument about the potential push by McCain or Graham is moved, that they won't be moved.
No, they push every year, and they have been for the past decade, at spending money that's above the caps. They do it all the time. It's the Overseas Contingency Fund. So the OCO account is basically a way to evade the caps. It's intellectually dishonest. It's fiscally liberal. It is what is pushing on the increase in our debt, and it's done by John McCain and Lindsey Graham. So they're the ones pushing that we're going to evade the caps with OCO money. So the $43 billion that exceeds the caps, technically, you're right. You can say, oh, we're going to adhere to the caps. They will. And yet then they'll put $43 billion in some account they just don't count as going against the caps. But I think that's a game and dishonest.
Senator, will you introduce an amendment to offset the OCO money that you were talking about? Do you have any sense of support of that? And then also make a point that leadership makes. This is a vehicle for tax reform, something you're very keen on doing.
Right.
What happens if this falls apart? And that your legislative initiative does as well.
Well, here's the thing is, many people have pointed out that this could actually be a tax cut. I actually do advocate a tax cut. I'm fine with a tax cut. And people say, well, is that fiscally responsible? In the context of believing in spending cuts, it would be. And that's what our budget document is. It's a document that represents, are we for spending cuts? Are we fiscally responsible? So I can't vote for one without the other. So I can vote for a big tax cut. I'll vote for almost any tax cut that comes down. I'm for stimulating economic growth through a tax cut. But I won't do it and then say, oh, I don't care about spending. The budget vote to me is a symbol and a guidepost as to what we are as a party and what we stand for. And the people like McCain and Graham, who parade as conservatives but are not really conservative, they need to be called out because they are bankrupting our country by sticking money in the OCO funding to the tune of trillions of dollars over the last 15 years.
So an amendment on...
I'll put forward an amendment that will be the leadership budget minus the money that goes that is above the budget caps. I think we will get votes. But the interesting thing will not be who votes for it. I think we'll get 15 or 20 people in our caucus who will vote for it, and no Democrats. I think the interesting thing will be the 20 or 30 people who, frankly, don't care about budget caps. That's why I will force the vote. They can't stop me. I can have that vote. I will also have budget reconciliation instructions to allow for entitlement reform. If we're for it, and we've got it in our budget, and we have a $96 billion reduction in year one, which allows our budget to balance in 8 years, we have this massive entitlement reform. Let's hear their plan. Let's see if they're honest. Let's see the bill they're going to vote for. They are playing a game. They are playing the public, and they're playing us for fools. Why is the deficit bigger all the time under Republicans or Democrats? Because neither one of them are conservative. And I'm frankly infuriated by the idea that these people will continue to throw wool over the eyes of the American voter and simply say, oh, we're conservative, and yet they pass stuff that is just frankly not conservative.
Senator Graham responded to your tweet saying that basically you were going to vote no on this anyways, saying that this is a subterfuge by Senator Paul. Senator Paul can't vote yes on anything because it's never good enough. Is this just you getting to know? And then also on this completely different subject, there's this healthcare agreement. Would you support anything that would actually extend CSRs? That's kind of a subject.
Lindsey Graham wouldn't know a conservative if he met one, all right? He's never been a conservative. He's probably a big part of why we have such a massive debt in this country, because he is unwilling and unable to be restrained at all on the money he throws at the military. So no, I don't consider him to be a conservative nor a bona fide Republican critic. I do think, though, that he's part of the problem, and I think with regards to a yes vote, I've already told the president I will vote yes, as long as they don't exceed the budget caps. So basically what I'm telling Republicans is, if you are going to be honest and do what you say, I will vote with you. If you are continuing to be dishonest, if you are saying you are for budget caps and then you're putting money in there that exceeds the budget caps, that's dishonest and it shows hypocrisy, and I don't want to be a part of that team. And so Lindsey Graham's the lead cheerleader for that team, and I don't want to be on a team that says we're for budget caps and then immediately evades the budget caps.
On healthcare, on the CSRs, could you support an agreement that would extend CSRs if they say this agreement could just extend it for 2 years?
What I've always supported is legalizing freedom and choice. And so last week when I appeared with the president to legalize individuals buying across state lines and associations, what we did, or what will happen, I think will give millions and millions of people the chance to get out of Obamacare. So there's about 11 million people on the individual exchanges right now. If we can get this in place, I think the vast majority of them will be eligible to leave the individual market. My hope is that there is no individual market and that everybody in the country can get group insurance. And I think if we widen these associations, there are thousands and thousands of associations in our country. It would be amazing to me that most individuals, I think, will find an association once these are legal and find a way to get group health insurance, which is much better than individual health insurance.
But Senator Graham, it seems like the CSR agreement might come to the floor in very short order.
Right.
So,
Well, we don't, if someone would tell me where the money would come from, we're $700 billion in the hole. So I don't think it's fiscally conservative or responsible to spend money we don't have. So it'd be sort of like this. You tell me that your neighbor is poor and you want to help them with insurance, but you don't have enough money to feed your kids, and you go to the bank and say to the bank, will you loan me money because I'm a good-hearted person and I want to give money to my neighbor to buy health insurance? That's what we're doing. And we're also not fixing the problem. We are subsidizing a broken individual market. What have the prices done in the individual market since we've been subsidizing it? They've gone up 100%. So when you subsidize something, you get more of it, but you don't necessarily bring the price down. So we're helping people in a way, but really, are you really helped if your health insurance has doubled and the government helps you buy it, and then the deductible $6,000? I think you might be worse off. So no, we need to get the hell out of the market. We need to get the government out of insurance, and we need to let people have freedom to choose what they want to choose and to find cheaper prices.
We'll get a wrap.
All right, thanks everybody.
Thank you.